Welcome to the Project Boxing podcast. This is episode number 9. Anthony $1 Million Crolla. Well, I know you've been a little bit under the weather, but you've just been ploughing on, but we're going to do it remotely just to, be on the safe side. There's a lot of germs and bugs flying around, but, just tell us how you're just ploughing through.
I just warrior mentality, warrior spirit, and you've just got to get on with it. What's that saying? A shark don't wake up in the morning and go, I feel a bit under the weather. I'm not going to eat fish or stuff, do shark shit. Did this? So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just getting on with it. And I've just beat this thing out of me.
So talk us through your weekend then, because obviously you were all over the big fight. It was a few days ago now. We've seen videos from Anthony Joshua since, and Daniel Dubois has been doing a bit of media the last couple of days as well. It's kind of warming into this new Daniel Dubois now, isn't he, after that win?
Honestly, do you know what? Listen, all seriousness aside, media is never going to be one of Daniel Dubois' strongest points. But I said it a few fights back. I think it's half working for him because people take a liking to him because obviously he's not very comfortable in front of the camera. You can certainly fight. But I think he's coming out with a few belting lines, which he has done in the past. And yeah, although the funny probably not for the right reason at that time. They're just brilliant. So people take a liking to him. And it's just, I think it is. And listen, obviously AJ done his. And listen, you know what? It takes a very big man to do that. And listen, it was a very polished speech when it always is with AJ in the sense of that's not, having a go. It's just very correct. But no matter what, people will say, they might have a go at that. It takes a very big person and a strong person to be able to do that after the weekend because inside he's got to be hurting. He's got to be hurting. And you can only take you can only salute that really, in my opinion. I mean, listen, what he said, well, he says he is going to fight on and stuff. And I think, listen, he should have a little bit of time with people who care about him and around. Yeah, what's the correct thing to do before making a decision. But listen, like you say, he seemed in good spirits in that. But listen, that's a 30-second, 60-second video. We won't really know in time. But either way, it takes a very big person to come out and put a post out like that after the weekend.
Yeah. I suppose most people got it wrong, didn't they?
They did. I think, listen, Dom, most people got it wrong, but I don't think people are totally shocked at the result. I think it was
I think that's a very good point. I think there was no shock involved with Dubois doing what we're doing in a way. I suppose the manner in which Josh was beaten up was a bit shocking.
Yeah, it wasn't the nicest to watch if you're an Anthony Joshua fan, and that's just being honest. Every credit to Daniel Dubois, by the way, and his team. I mean, he was unbelievable, wasn't he? But yeah, no, it wasn't the nicest to watch.
No, and Dubois, fair play to him, just set about him, didn't he? And again, just wasn't fazed by the crowd. All the questions that he had to face beforehand, he was just made for the occasion on the night. But I think that, obviously the size of the crowd and the event and everything else and the magnitude of it, and I know there's the Saudi investment now and all the rest of it, but for anyone giving Joshua a kicking, they still have to remember that fella is absolutely instrumental in building British boxing, beyond compared to the way it was before he came along.
Dom, I said it to someone the other day. I said, what he's done for British boxing is unbelievable. And I mean, there's very few, boxers or influences on British boxing who've had the impact that Anthony Joshua had. And they was going, what do you mean? What do you mean? There's been much better fights than him. Yeah, all right, of course there has. But for years, he's a huge part why there's a huge stadium fights. He's a huge part why some of these fighters, best fighters in the world, want to come over to the UK. And you can only respect that. And not just that, what he's done since that 2012 Olympics is inspired a generation. And I think a lot of respect needs putting on his name for that. And not just, listen, there's a lot of stuff he does away from the camera as well, at grassroots level. And I know he's called Finchley ABC and stuff, but not even just there. he's inspired a generation, and for me, that's why he'll always be a legend of British boxing. And people will get mixed up, going, "Oh no, there's better heavyweight, there's this, there's that." You know, he's not even the best three heavyweights in the, and that's stupid because I'm on about what he's done as an individual for the sport from grassroots upwards. It's unbelievable. It's a massive, massive impact that he's had. But yeah, no, you mentioned, you know, will the occasion and stuff. It gets to Daniel Dubois. He handled it perfectly, didn't he? And I think massive credit needs to go to his team for that. Really does.
I know that you were probably trying to juggle a few things as well. You know, watching Crystal Palace versus Manchester United whilst also watching the undercard. It was on very early, wasn't it? Some of the fights were on way too early. I mean, if that's a complaint, if you're not making, I mean, it's just you want to see everything, don't you? And it was such an event that some of the big fights were on very early, weren't they?
That was the frustrating thing. You know, I was looking forward to the most on the undercard. Anto Kakacha, Josh Warrington. It's on the same time as Manchester United Crystal Palace. And listen, I know most people. Well, that's a lie, actually. There's some people who won't be worried about that. But it was on early. Do you know what I mean? And then there's a big gap and stuff, which was a bit frustrating. But it was, and listen, it was an unbelievable card on paper. Listen, some of the fights they weren't really thrillers. But listen, it was still a very solid card throughout. A bit of everything on it, shocks. There was a few shocks, wasn't there? But
you know what I've been kind of tickled by as well. Obviously, Frank Warren's been doing the rounds as well, as you would imagine. He's been in demand because his man, he backed his man. I mean, this fella's just unbeatable at the minute, isn't he? He just can't do anything wrong.
Mate, all you can do. What you have got to do is take your off to Frank Warren because he's been around for his years. How he's ended up staying around for all those years when it was tough for him, still producing big events, and now he's in an unbelievable position and the stable he's got coming through. Is unbelievable, and the way he sort of promoted some of the fighters, and he's stuck by Daniel Dubois, Hamza Shiraz. Now he's brought him on perfect. Hamza Shiraz, like you say, he looks potentially one of the superstars of future superstars of British boxing.
Yeah,
it's at his age to still be doing that, it's unbelievable, and you can only respect that, and you can only take your hat off to it. It's nice to see Frank and Eddie. They seem to be getting on great and speaking well of each other. And I think that'll help with fights getting made in future. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is as well, you mentioned Frank stable, but just the heavyweights alone now, when he's got Tyson Fury in action in a couple of months, and he's got now Daniel Dubois, who his stock is through the roof, of course. But then there's a fellow coming through, Moses Atomo, still a teenager. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy the talent he's got on his kind of panel now.
Before, listen, up until a few fights ago, you'd be saying Joe Joyce as well.
Yeah.
In that heavyweight division, it's scary what he's got thereabouts. But no, there's obviously an eye for talent. I know obviously sons Francis and George, they play a part in it as well. So yeah, credit where it's due.
Well, there you go. Now today, because it's the 9th episode, Anthony, that means it's the letter I, and I think no better word than inspiration, really, for what we've seen over the weekend and these big events, which everyone it does inspire people. There's 98,000 or whatever. I mean, that'll probably keep going up now, won't it? It'll probably be 132,000 in a year's time, but it does, people watching an event like that for the first time, and people that are just thinking, wow, is this boxing in Britain? And I mean, they see obviously the celebs in the faces ringside and Liam Gallagher doing what he was doing. If it's actually kind of thing, then great. If it's going to get you interested, then great. Boxing fans don't want to see that, I don't think. But if that's going to broaden it out, then it inspires, doesn't it?
That's part of the show, isn't it? And I know in the show in LA, which was part of Riyadh season, you had Eminem on as well, and it's a bit of a mad random run. An artist performing a few songs before the main event, but. Listen, that's what Turkey Sheik's decided he wants, and what is mad, like obviously the Oasis comeback and all that. There's Liam Gallagher, like he's performing, so there's people there. There's that buzz around that. He's saying a few weeks. Obviously, Eminem, I don't think he does many no more. So there is you are getting a bit of both, but yeah, people will criticize it. I mean, listen, Eminem. Don't know how qualified I am to be talking about the greatest rappers of all time, but I think he's certainly one of them. And but I remember working that show for TV, and I think he'd come on at 6 a.m. miming. Didn't really do it for me when I was six cups of coffee and 3 espressos. So yeah, but listen, it's something new, some news to show. Listen, there's no denying the production, the fireworks, the razzmatazz around it is something very special.
Yeah, and it was on all the back pages, and that's you can't,
Of course
you
it
can't.
was. Everyone's talking about it. Honestly, every time I took my little football training last night, everyone's talking about it. And I don't mean just to me because I've done a little bit, but it's just talking amongst each other. They're all buzzing about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good thing.
Did you have a few fights? Yeah,
I had a few semi-pro ones.
Right, but inspiration then. So you look at that and you think, oh, well, hopefully now the next gen will be inspired by Dubois and maybe inspired by Joshua's rise to what he's done in the sport. And so again, you look at your own career, but what was the big inspiration for you?
What was the big inspiration for me? Do you mean people who looked up to or something that happened in the career?
Whatever it means to you, who inspired you to do what you did?
Getting a bit serious now, but family, wanting to make life easier for my child. Growing up, the amateur club where I come from, a lot of kids looked up to me. So yeah, no, that's sort of what I'd say was everyone's got a reason. Why haven't they done? Everyone's got a reason, but and probably that was one of mine. Obviously I was very aware it was a business as well, and you wanted to make life a little bit easier, sort of get a house out the sport. That was always my aim. But yeah.
And now, whether he likes it or not, or whether he admits it or not, you've provided inspiration for your William, who's coming through now. And again, he's got a big fight, obviously, next month. But before you get to that, your gym's been mental, really, hasn't it? In terms of how busy it is and getting Rhiannon ready for the weekend, which is massive.
Rhiannon Dixon, she fights from 2-weight world champion Terry Harper. It's a great fight. Over at Sheffield, it's a good venue as well. What's it? Where's it? It's Cannon Arena.
Yeah, it's a top. It's kind of like you're in between small hall and big arena. Really, it's like a big small hall or a medium sized venue. It's great. It's really good. Don't need to be a bad seat in the house. It's just good atmosphere. Yeah.
There's a decent show there. Friday night, the GBM show, and then Saturday night we're there with the Matchroom show. A few good fights on that. I think Galal Yafai's just been added to it before. His big one with Sonny Edwards. So it's a fight I can't wait for. Obviously, Rhiannon, she had a fantastic camp. Looking forward to it. We always want, don't we? What you expect, a career best performance, and if she does that, I believe she wins and wins in style. That's not underestimating Terra. She's been a great ambassador for the women's game, but it's a fight we're really looking forward to.
It's something for her as well, isn't it? I mean, for those that don't understand or know the story of Rhiannon, no amateur experience. She took up boxing for a bit of a laugh when she was at university to get a bit fitter because she was a bit inspired by the UFC girls, wasn't she? Ronda Rousey and Holly.
Totally. That's when you say that inspiration, she's right up there.
She's obviously a pharmacist by trade. That was her career. And then this has developed into her career. She's a world champion and she's headlining the big shows now. It's some achievement.
It's an unbelievable achievement. I don't think it gets talked about enough. Girl who's never had an amateur fight or anything like that, you can only admire it. Where she's come from. Like saying now, these days, she wouldn't be allowed to turn professional how she did. It wouldn't be allowed. But no, big night for her on Saturday. And if she goes out there, can make a statement against Terra, then she's world champion. But then I think she becomes a real player in female boxing.
Well, what would you want to happen then? I mean, if she beats Terry then at the weekend, I know you're super confident that she will.
I think you obviously start looking at unifications and stuff like that. That'd be the plan. I just want to, like say, to keep improving. But unifications, it would be, after Terra, that'd be the plan.
Well, doesn't that involve a certain superstar?
A certain superstar. You don't mean the quote. Well, my quote anyway.
Is that what you're thinking? I mean,
no. Listen, I'd never have the cheek and think, you know, to go get. Yeah, but no, listen, Katie, she's gone up a weight and stuff like that. No, no. So, but listen, there's a lot of other great fights out there around that weight. What do you know? I've never, and Rihanna be the same. Never had the cheek to call out Katie. Do you know what I mean? Where she's come from, it'd just be wrong. And I actually, there's a few girls actually. I tell Rihanna if there's a few who she'd fight, I'd struggle. I struggle to want her to win, but yeah, I think that'd be one of them.
Yeah, but she's looking good. She's ready for this.
She looks good. She had a final check weight today. She was banging through the touch under actually, but yeah, all good.
Right. So what else has been going on anyway? I mean, obviously, last time we spoke, you were in Singapore, and
I was
again, you know, a good trip all round, but back on it now. None of that now.
I was straight back into it, Dom. Do you know, before that, I was straight back on those two about 18 hours of traveling with the layovers, a bit more actually. And then I was straight taking my son to football from the airport. You know, being a great dad like I am, like the Mancunian Peter Andre. Then I was straight in the gym actually later that day. So yeah.
Right, very good.
What else? Wait, no, what else? Now we're just waiting on a few of the lads getting dates and stuff. What else? I think that's it, mate. I feel like there'll be something. This weekend. So this weekend, obviously, I'm going to talk about it. We'll have Nick Ball on.
Yeah. That's the week after, yeah. But yeah, it's all about Sheffield this week. So in terms of, you know, as you tend to do, you tend to have a little favourite thing that you like to tell us about every week. You know, your hero of the week on social media, which is, you know, you've always got plenty at your fingertips, Ant. So
you threw it right on me here. Oh, geez. Who would it be? Do you know what? I don't know whether... I'm just happy for him. Do you know what? I'm just happy for him. And I loved... Do you know my hero of my week? These two people. It's not so... Well, yeah, no, because Kieran's been active on social media. But Don Charles, Kieran Farrell, and I loved it in the ring. Do you know when he said about this sort of complimented each other and stuff like that? And it's good to see, and obviously my history with Kieran and stuff like that. I am, there's another inspiration, you know, what he's come back from, to be involved in one of the biggest fights in British boxing history. So all seriousness for him. Yeah, all serious for a minute here, aren't I? But I don't think Don is on social media, but them two, you can only, if you can't find love and admiration for that, I think there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, isn't it, with Kieran? I mean, obviously, you two boxed 10 years ago or so, and then he had the brain injury that was unfinished, and he's managed to reinvent himself as a coach, moved down to Essex, which was like...
Essex, and Kieran, I think he's the most... You know, if you think of... I know this isn't actually Essex, but like Essex Towie and stuff, Kieran is the most un-Towie person. Yeah. I think he'd say that in the world. I think he said it actually in the interview that Kieran's Kieran's happy with a brew and stuff like that. He's... he just lives and breathes boxing. So yeah, no, that's my inspiration.
Yeah, well, it's been that was a great story, that, and a great moment for Kieran as well. Right, so that's that then. So what else is going on? Nothing too exciting for you?
No, the beginners are coming in now. The beginners are coming in now. Then there's some of the juniors, and then there's an adult class at the gym, and then it's Rhiannon. It's Malfoy, you know, Harry Potter. That's what now a name of Malfoy's fight week, isn't it?
Oh, I see, right.
She does look like, you don't think him, do you not think you got a look of him?
I'm not saying anything.
She does, you know she does. Yeah, so Malfoy, fight week. Wait, one more thing, yeah. If the main event, head coach in the main event, they might have a press, they might have the head coach at the table. So yeah, big day for me first, yeah, if you do.
So what's the attire then? Are you going to go as like the casual coach? Are you going to get smartened up or what? Now you're back on the top table.
You know what? A little bit of me wants to go full 3-piece. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want to make it about me. So yeah, just be casual.
Well, what about Steffi then? Steffi will be on the table. What is Steffi?
Steffi loves his clever, doesn't he? I know he's got some collection, but I don't know. I still don't know. And this is I don't think this is. I don't know whether Steffi or John, her amateur coach. You know, she's got a good team who's going to be the head coach on the night. So yeah, I watched the YouTube thing, yeah, and you know, I appreciate the kind words he said about us. But it's it'll be one of them. It'll be one of them. I don't know if any tables will be flying.
Oh well, you never know. It might just be a whole new thing for you. You might just lose the rag completely.
Yeah. You never know. They might do like a gloves are off with us talking about now. They're missing a trick, if not, aren't they?
Himself and Steffi.
Yeah, could do, couldn't they?
Yeah. Oh well.
You know,
right. Well, enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see you in Sheffield, Anthony.
Yep, you will do.
Well, with that, and it's a sign off then from the Project Boxing podcast, and let's do it all again next week.